Is that right? It is. Good morning, beautiful people. I don't know if it's the morning where you are, but just go with it. So today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 vegan meals that I'm absolutely obsessed with right now. To be honest, it's 4 creations, and the 5th one is just something that... Why is there always a plane when I do my intros? Always. There hasn't been a plane since the last time I did an intro in this kitchen. So today I'm going to share with you 5 vegan meals that I'm absolutely obsessed with right now, been making on repeat. To be completely honest, it's 4 creations, and then the 5th thing is something so simple, but something that I have to eat every single day, and I've never been more obsessed with, so I had to throw it in here, and you're gonna love it too. All of these recipes are very simple, easy, and delicious. The full measurements, instructions, and ingredients will be linked down below. As per usual, let's get into the... Do you know what? I'm actually salivating, so let's get into the food. So this first recipe is the best potato salad I've ever made, and you know I've made quite a few in my time. The thick creamy dressing is made from macadamia nuts and hemp seeds, which I've pre-soaked, and then some other sharp flavors which I'll show you in a second. The potatoes I'm using are these little yellow flesh Charlotte potatoes, and the reason I love using them for potato salads is because they're super creamy with a slight bit of sweetness too, but any white potatoes will work. Just dice these into big bite-sized chunks and then boil or steam them until fork tender. While the potatoes are cooking, I'm chopping up some fresh dill, which is a major component in this mix, so don't be stingy, yeah? You want a big bang of dill explosion with each mouthful. Also finely dicing some spring onions or scallions and crushing up a few cloves of fresh garlic for the sauce. So into a blender with the macadamias and hemp seeds, garlic, lots of fresh lemon juice. I think I used 3 whole lemons for this. 1 medjool date to balance out the sour flavor from the lemon and to add a little bit of sweetness. Trust me, this makes a big difference. Salt, pepper, and then thin with a little bit of water to blend. I also added in a little bit of the fresh dill to the sauce too, but save most of it for when we toss. Give the mix a little taste to make sure that the seasoning is perfecto, and then smother the hot potatoes with the sauce. And you really do want to do this while they're hot, because then they absorb and soak up all of the flavor so beautifully. Add in the scallions and the rest of the dill and give it a good mix. But go easy, as you don't want this to turn into mashed potatoes, if you know what I'm saying. I will tell you, this mix is even more delicious the next day if you just spread it out on a baking tray and roast it up a little bit. The sauce gets a little bit crispy, like a crunchy crust, and it's just the most delicious thing ever. My favorite way to eat this, unsurprisingly, if you know me, is wrapped in romaine boats with a little extra sauce drizzled over the top, and happily apply to face. I haven't shown you my crispy tahini cauliflower steaks in a while, so I thought it was time to resurrect this tasty creation, but with the flavor bumped up even more. I'm cutting up a large cauliflower head into thick slices, and I know I always say this, but they are basically just little white trees. Do you get me? For the marinade, we're using some proper runny liquid gold tahini. Would you look at that? That's proper tahini, my friends, pourable. So we need a lake of this for dunking the steaks in, along with some fresh lemon juice, garlic powder, sweet smoked paprika, salt, pepper, and some nooch for a little bit of cheesiness. And then give this a good stir, and it will thicken, but that's normal and actually what you want. Dunk in the cauliflower and make sure every little bit is coated in the thick marinade. Get as much on them as possible. This is a messy job, but the final result is worth it, trust me. Then into a hot oven for 20 to 25 minutes until they're soft in the middle with a crispy exterior. On this day, I just served it over a mix of leafy greens, fresh rocket, and threw over some walnuts for extra crunch. Walnuts are right up there on my list of favorite nuts. I just love their buttery flavor, especially in salads. These cauliflower steaks pretty much go with everything and can be a great addition to any meal, although I will tell you the best way is to stuff them in a sandwich with some fresh herbs and hummus. And if you're anything like me, then you'll drizzle this with some sriracha for a little kick before sending it down the chute with pleasure. Alright, let me present to you my ketchup spaghetti. Bear with me, trust me, this works. This is actually a recipe my girlfriend used to eat back in the day, and ever since I made it for the first time, I've been hooked. It's so comforting and surprisingly flavorful. Together with the olive oil, it makes the most tasty tomato sauce ever. I'm using regular whole wheat pasta, but any pasta will work. In a large frying pan, I'm starting off with some extra virgin olive oil, and yes, you do need a lot of oil for this recipe, but that's the only way to achieve the desired end result. It's definitely a treat, but it is what it is, people. Throwing in some finely diced white onion, some sun-blushed tomatoes, salt and pepper, and then let this cook until the onions start to soften. When the pasta is ready, toss it into the frying pan and mix really well so that every strand is covered in the sauce. And then goes in the ketchup, which yes, you also need a lot of. Like a lot. Keep this on a low heat while tossing until some of the spaghetti strands start to crisp up a little bit. The texture of this when you eat it is unreal, guys, so make sure you let things get a little bit crispy in the pan. Finishing it off with some fresh basil, and I kind of feel like it should be illegal to eat any kind of tomato pasta sauce without basil. But anyways, and just toss this until the basil leaves start to wilt slightly. This mix, guys, this mix. You're just gonna have to make it and then you'll know. My favorite smoothie of all time has to be this chocolate peanut butter cup mix. It's full of so much goodness, yet also tastes like one of those naughty, thick chocolate malt shakes you get in American diners, if you know what I'm saying. This version is also very high in protein and it keeps you full up for a very long time, so it's a bit of a double whammy, you know? Taste, satiation, the whole shebang. I'm using the raw vegan cacao protein powder from Vivo Life, which I'll link down below. Oat and almond milk, peanut butter powder, hemp seeds, always essential. Some squishy medjool dates for extra sweetness and caramel flavor. Smooth salted peanut butter, and of course some frozen ripe bananas. I mean, what kind of vegan are you if you don't always have a stash of frozen bananas? If you know what I'm saying. This mix is really like having dessert for breakfast, although feel free to make it for dessert because it is just that good. You can also use much less plant milk and make this into a thicker smoothie bowl base, but I was in smoothie mode today, so yeah. I went a little bit extra and used some of this carob based chocolate sauce to squirt around the jar for that real chocolate malt experience. It does look like a mess, but it just bumps up the deep chocolate flavor even more. Definitely one of my all-time favorites to enjoy any time of day or night. You all knew this was coming, so really no explanation needed here. But you hear that hollow sound, that's when you know it's a good one. Beautiful. Seriously guys, a good, sweet, crisp watermelon, spritz with a little bit of fresh lime juice, really is my favorite thing to eat of all time and saves my life on a daily basis in the summer. Always after that watermelon sugar high. The pleasure I get from eating this every morning really can't be put into words. All I'm gonna say is, if you know, then you know. Especially when you cut one open and you hear that loud crack. That's when you know you've hit the jackpot. I also have a really specific way of cutting and dicing my melons into squares. It just makes the experience even more enjoyable. There's just nothing comparable to this beautiful fruit. Anyways guys, as always, I'm sending you all so much love and I'll see you all in the next video. Laters.